Hello everybody, and welcome back to 4FS Gaming. Today, for your viewing pleasure, I'm going to be posing a simple question, and also going to try my best to answer it. What is the point of the B-Wing in Star Wars Squadrons? Now, I don't want to come off as negative when talking about the B-Wing, as it is a very unique and seriously destructive ship. It has the most primary weapon damage of the game, it can cause both normal and ion damage with its primary weapons at the same time, it has a unique gyro module that also improves the other module you have equipped. But what is the point of all those cool features if they don't really have a point in the grand galactic scale of things? Let me try to explain, and hopefully by the end, we will all have an answer to the simple question, what is the point of the B-Wing? Let's start by just looking at the B-Wing and its stats without comparing it too much to anything to get a sense of what it's good at. It has 1600 hull hit points, making it the second most healthy hull in the game behind the TIE Bomber without modifications. It has 400 shields, making it the lowest base shield value in the game. Its max base speed is 100, the slowest base speed in the game, and by extension, its boost speed of 200 is also the slowest in the game. Even worse still, its base acceleration value is 50, and its base maneuverability is 51, both of those also being the worst in the game. But let's get back on track with the good values. It has some of, if not the best primary weapons in the game. The standard cannons have 533.3 DPS, which is already among the highest in the game, coming fourth overall compared to other standard weapons on different ships. And its rotary cannons are even better, tying the TIE Bomber in raw damage and only losing to the Plasburst cannons for DPS, at least the values that are presented in the hangar. But that's not all there is to tell. The B-Wing gets the added bonus of both weapon systems getting ion DPS values on top of the normal damage, those values being 400 ion DPS for the standard weapons and 283.3 ion damage for the rotary cannons. This means you have an advantage when shooting at shielded targets compared to other normal weapons, while not being as good as dedicated ion weapons at disabling shields in enemy spacecraft. And another positive, one of the unique modules the B-Wing has access to is the Gyro Aux module, which not only lets you rotate the ship around the cockpit, which takes some getting used to but is really useful in the grand scheme of things, it also doubles ammunition for modules that use ammunition and halves the cooldown of all other modules. This is very nice to have, because being able to take in 10 proton bombs in a single resupply is devastating to enemy capital ships. And, an added bonus, you can bomb sideways, or any other direction, thanks to the gyro rolling of the ship. Now that all sounds amazing, and it is quite good. But now we have to face the facts. This one setup, the Gyro Aux module with 10 proton bombs, is one of, if not the best way to use the B-Wing. But what about compared to its New Republic companion bomber, the Y-Wing? This is where things get a bit ugly for the Blade Wing. Let's start off with the basic stats, unmodified. The Y-Wing is literally better at every stat except base health. It has 3 times as many shields, it's faster, almost 3 times the acceleration, and 19 points more in maneuverability. And like I said, those are the base stats, which completely discount and leave out the custom modules each ship can fit. And let's see how we can make the Y-Wing better in this comparison. First off, let's start by fitting the reinforced hull, and any shield module of your choice, and suddenly, the Y-Wing has 1920 health, 320 more than the B-Wing. And personally, I don't recommend running the deflector hull in the Y-Wing, since you actually lose 60 total health from the trade-off. Not a big loss, but every little bit helps when you're public enemy number 1 for the Empire. You can also run the Ray Shield to make your shield more durable against lasers by 25%, giving your shields a theoretical max health of 1500 against lasers, but also lowers them to 600 theoretical health against missiles, rockets, and other Aux modules. Or you can use the Overloaded Shield, which makes the missile debuff into a serious buff, launching your possible max shield health against missiles to 2400. But your shield might as well not even recharge. And the engines? Unstable for more speed, less health, and explosive demises. Slam engines for constant boost refills at the cost of max speed, and jet engines for more boost recharge at the cost of the boost that's in the tank itself. And the Aux modules? you have both normal and piercing torpedoes, both types of bombs, the Goliath missile and multilocks for AI farming, the assault shield for even more survivability, the boost extension for quick maneuvering, the beam cannon for spectacle and pinpoint damage, and the ion cannon for... well, I never used it, so I'm not 100% sure. And the mines. But those are kind of a waste for something that is designed to unleash destruction on capital ships. Using an aux slot on mines doesn't make a lot of sense. Oh wait, I completely forgot about the B-Wing. We've been talking about the Y-Wing this entire time. Well, what kind of modules does the B-Wing get? What can its health get up to with the reinforced hull? Can we help out those horrible shields that are weaker than an A-Wing at all? Well, bad news, it can't actually get the reinforced hull. In fact, it can only hurt its hull with either the reflect or dampener hull. But the reflect hull is a quite nice trade-off in the grand scheme of things. That stealth really does help you get to your target. But what about its shields? Well, thankfully, you can mount the deflector hull to improve your shields to 520 health, 20 more than an A-Wing. And in the process, you blast your hull down to 1040 health, resulting in a net total health loss of 440. Way worse than the 60 health the Y-Wing gets. Okay, well, what about the engines? Can we get that speed up at all? Yes, as a matter of fact, we can. With the thrust engine equipped, you now have a base top speed of 130. You are now as fast as a support ship. Congratulations. But now you have no acceleration at 35 and no maneuverability at 35.7. And in the last video talking about the thrust engine, I mentioned that the B-Wing has one of the biggest boost tanks in the game. Well, I forgot to mention, it also has one of the best drifts in the game. So why would you shoot your maneuverability in the kneecaps just to get some slight extra speed that won't save you from anything? Yeah, I don't really know why anyone would either. To me, the unstable engine would be a better bet. Sure, you lose 320 hull and 80 shields, but the explosion and the slight bonus to speed and acceleration make up for it. And the slam engine isn't really worth talking about, since you'll never live long enough to passively gain enough boost for a full tank, and your base speed drops to 80, as if it wasn't bad enough already. Okay, but let's get back on track. What about the aux modules, the damage dealers? Well, do you remember that gyro aux module I mentioned earlier? The one that lets you carry a massive amount of proton bombs into battle? Yeah, that one. Well, the gyro aux module and proton bombs are about the only combination that makes sense for the B-Wing, and it's the only one that gives it a distinct edge over the Y-Wing. Sure, you could run with an assault shield and a beam cannon on the B-Wing, but the Y-Wing can also do that. Well, you can run rockets and the ion beam, which is another unique module to the B-Wing, and those are two modules that the Y-Wing doesn't have. But the X-Wing can run the rockets and ion missiles or ion torpedoes, and the A-Wing can have both the ion and barrage rockets. And comparing the B-Wing to either of those ships further than I already have would just be, quite frankly, rude. But what about the possibility of carrying 20 ion bombs? 20 entire ion bombs into battle. That is amazing. I have never found a situation where I needed more than 6 or 7 ion bombs to disable a shield, and it takes only 3 to 4 to destroy a power system. So I don't see the point in carrying 20 of something I don't even need 10 of. What about the torpedoes? Well, the X-Wing does the torpedo boat job better. Higher speed, it can do other things besides just attack capital ships. It can have more hull and more shields with the right build. Again, it's rude to compare the B-Wing to the X-Wing. Okay, a magazine of 80 rockets, 80 barrage rockets, that's twice as much as any of the other ships have access to. They do a combined damage of 4,800 over almost 27 seconds of firing. Or you can use 5 proton bombs for 5,500 damage in a fraction of the time. Well, just run a mixed set of rockets and something else on the B-Wing. Then you should just use a different ship at that point, because what's the point of using the B-Wing if you're not going to have double the ammunition? I could sit here all day and give more examples as to why the B-Wing doesn't really have a point in squadrons. Except for the very first good thing I mentioned about it. 10 proton bombs are devastatingly powerful. 11,000 damage in a few seconds is something no other ship can do. But that's the only thing the Blade Wing does better than any of the other ships in the game. And you take those 10 bombs, knowing that before you take it out for an attack run, that it is a one-way trip, unless you have support. If not, you're going to go down with your ship. And even with support, it's not a guarantee that you'll make it back, because you are slower than a TIE Interceptor by a noticeable margin. And if the TIE Interceptor pilot has a thrust engine, he will outrun you even while you're boosting away. Now, I want to make it very clear, very apparent. This is not a video saying you shouldn't use the B-Wing. In fact, I think you should try it, should use it, to see if you can make something work, and if you like it more than I do. But I really want to like this ship. I mean, look at it! It's a really cool ship design that I loved even when I first saw it in Return of the Jedi when I was a kid. But that nostalgia can't make it any better in-game than it is. But if you really like this ship, and I don't blame you, it's a really cool ship, I can't and won't tell you to never use it. Use it as much as you'd like. You're lovely targets for the rest of us Imperial pilots. And on that note, I hope you all enjoyed this video. And speaking of Imperial pilots, the next video I'm going to try is going to be a TIE Defender video. But I can't seem to get onto the Empire side in random games, like just with the matchmaking, so some custom games may be in order, and maybe we can work something out where we can have community games. Who knows? There's also some tournaments coming up. We'll have to see about those. But until the next video, I hope all of you are staying safe out there, and I will see all of you next time with hopefully not such a negative video. I do like the TIE Defender, I will say that up front. It's just a bit of a learning curve compared to what I'm used to. A high-octane speed demon lifestyle compared to a turn and burn style. It's giving me whiplash just thinking about it. But again, I will hope to see you all in the next video.